Welcome to the show that keeps you in touch with matters related to health. I'm Ronald Abvergy, and this is Shape Your Life. In light of the upcoming Pregnancy Awareness Week, today we've decided to focus on issues affecting human reproduction. Here's a look at what we've got in store for you. In our show today, is plastic packaging causing male infertility? The importance of family planning. And we break down food that aid with reproduction. It's a jam-packed show filled with lots of info as usual. First up, here's your health news.
In your health news, a study from the University of Exeter has linked infertility amongst teenagers to bisphenol A, a formulation found in plastic containers. The study revealed that almost 90% of teens had the gender-bending chemicals from plastics in their bodies. 94 teenagers were tested, with 86% of them being found to have BPA in their body. The chemical used to make certain plastics is said to mimic the female sex hormone estrogen and has been linked to breast and prostate cancers, as well as low sperm counts and infertility in men. Last year, the European Chemical Agency reclassified BPA as a very high concern substance because of the serious probable effects it has on human health. Bisphenol A, which is used to harden plastics, is linked to type 2 diabetes and heart disease, besides a decline in male fertility. In cancer-related matters, it seems the number of prostate cancer cases has increased over the past years, overtaking the breast cancer deaths in the UK. Even though the biggest cancer killers remain the lung and bowel cancer, the 2015 figures show that there is 11,819 deaths recorded from prostate cancer, compared with 11,442 from breast cancer. Part on the improvement on breast cancer numbers is linked to the advances in diagnosis and treatment of the disease paying off. Most men are still found to be reluctant to test for prostate cancer, leaving them vulnerable, with only a 22% chance of survival if the cancer is detected late.
So often when starting a family, infertility is often blamed on the woman alone. We spoke to nurse Karen Bester to dispel this misconception and share some light on the latest stats when it comes to infertility. Karen, thank you so much for joining us in studio.
Thank you, Ronald. It's nice to be here again.
Often when we find couples that are trying to fall pregnant and it just doesn't happen, the blame tends to fall onto the woman. So the gents take a step back and point fingers and often say, it's your fault, it's nothing to do with me. What do the stats tell us?
Well, there are two important papers or two important research studies that we use the statistics of, and it is actually quite astounding. The stats say that 50% of couples will struggle. They'll struggle to fall pregnant. And then the other trial says that in that case, where we look at five couples that are struggling, in two of those couples, it'll be the men's problem.
What is happening in our lifestyles today that is impacting men when it comes to fertility? Because women are a whole different ball game, and like you said, go and see your specialist first and foremost. But today, let's focus on the men, because often men tend to ignore this factor. Those lifestyle factors that we should be conscious of that are impacting our ability to be more fertile, what are the common ones? Well,
generally, the list is as long as my arm, but generally what we always talk about is, firstly, cut out the smoking and the drinking. Okay, so alcohol, recreational drugs and tobacco we know affect sperm health and the quality of sperm. Then have a good diet. So eating vegetables and fruits, it's the old story, green leafy vegetables, berries and nuts. I know artichokes apparently are great, and apparently red wine and chocolates are good for male fertility, dark chocolate specifically.
Okay, well, we are chatting to our dietitian, so I'll pose that to her as well. And just, this is what our experts said. What do you say?
Yeah, so definitely those lifestyle changes. Look at in men, definitely heat around the groin area. So no tight underwear, hot baths, not good. Bikram yoga, you can't do that any longer. Stay away from electric blankets. And those are the start of sort of baselines. Okay. Then, I mean, it really depends. Also, chronic diseases and the medication that we take sometimes can affect fertility. But in many of the cases, and the statistics also say that, it was lifestyle related. So in very few cases, it was related to chronic disease. And in very few cases, it was related to medication being taken. And also hormonal levels. In men, hormones don't play a major role like they do in females. Yeah.
You speak a lot about, not wearing tight underwear, and I'm linking directly that into the skinny jeans trend, that look like gym tights. But also you say heat around that growing area.
Yeah.
Laptops are a common thing now as well. So many men will sit and just work with a laptop on their lap, not realizing what's happening. What does heat do to impact negatively on our fertility?
Well, we know that sperm function and sperm forming and also the testicular fill is sometimes affected by heat. And yeah, I don't know about laptops. I don't know if there's a study. Maybe one of the big computers companies can do a trial. But we definitely know that it's about loose underwear. Keep it as cool as possible, and yeah, the heat definitely has a big impact. And I think one of the big trials was done related to industries in heat. So where men were working in like smelteries and things like that, they found that the fertility rates were lower in those men-driven industries. So I think that's where that comes from. So there are definitely trials, and everything is affected on a fertility level with men.
When you drive on the Johannesburg and South African streets, you often see these, I call them unmarked flyers. Flyers you just see everywhere and get pasted everywhere. And there's two things that they're selling. One is penis enlargement, and the second one is improving your fertility. Is it true that supplements can assist men when it comes to, helping them become more fertile?
I think there's definitely some good trial information that's available. Antioxidants seem to be the biggest one that you need to supplement with. And if you think about the lifestyle that we live, we are very free radical loaded. So we need to look at improving our antioxidants. The trials that I'm specifically relating to is there's a trial on pycnogenol with the combination of L-carnitine that shows an improvement in the amount of sperm, the concentration, also how fast they swim, and of course their form, which is very, very important when we're looking at fertility. So those supplementations are available, and they're really key. And what we're also finding is that more and more fertility doctors are prescribing these supplements, not only for just general infertility, but also when they're doing things like IVF and the other more invasive treatments.
For those that are struggling, what is your final piece of advice to them when they've reached the ends and they just want to give up and say, you know what, I've had enough?
Yeah, I think that you have to make a decision with where you're going, firstly, you know how important this is for both of you. I would always start off with medical exam, go back to that process, go and see what you've got, and go and see where the baseline is. Our fertility practices are very well educated on all the options, and it isn't always about invasive, expensive procedures. It might be something simple. It might be just wearing other underwear, but there could be other complications. It might be we don't always think about the medication that we're taking daily. That might affect it, and it might just be a little subtle change that needs to happen. But I think really know what you're dealing with, know your baseline.
Karen, thank you for sharing wonderful information with us to really help people out there, understand themselves better, own some of the mistakes in their lifestyle that they're doing, and hopefully be there for their partners, and they can fall pregnant and go forth and multiply.
Thank you very much, Ronald.
Certainly insightful to those looking to be fruitful and multiply. It's time for us to take a quick commercial break. We have more when we return. After the break, the importance of a healthy pregnancy. And we stretch our way into shape. Don't move.